Welcome back to our series on what makes a good ground-up industrial development. In part one, we focus on the importance of location and supply and demand. Part two, we talked about knowing your soil, understanding your power, and understanding how much water you have coming to your site. Today, part three, we're going to talk about labor. And then in part four, we're going to talk about the importance of the city and understanding their incentives. When it comes to labor, there's four things that you want to pay attention to. You need to understand your labor force and how much of a labor force you have. So you got to look at the population within a 30-mile radius from your site. You also want to understand the type of work that population is involved in. You want to know their medium age, and you also want to understand the minimum wage. So I'll give you an example. We had a site that within a 30-mile radius, there was 300,000 people. That population, 16% was involved in the material moving occupation. And the national average for material moving occupation is 9%. This was 16%. And that's just a fancy way of saying warehouse workers. So that was a great statistic for us. And the median age was 45 years old, which is a young, healthy workforce. And the minimum wage was a reasonable minimum wage in the sense that it wasn't the most expensive within this state. And you need to get a labor study done to look at all these statistics. And we had a labor study done for this site. We had actually the best stats other than one location. But that one location had a much more expensive labor force in the sense that their minimum wage was much higher. And so these are important because when you're having a user come into your industrial warehouse, they're going to need a significant amount of workforce. You know, if you've got a 500,000 square feet or 1 million square foot warehouse facility, you could be employing 1,000 to 3,000 people. And so these are statistics that are really important that the user is going to be paying attention to. And let me talk a little bit more on that minimum wage. We had a site in another location. It was 2 hours north of where all the activity was. And we were trying to get some major national groups to come to our location. And we were having difficulty because we didn't have a lot of saturation within the area. It was a new area for industrial development. But what was able to get us to land the users was the fact that our minimum wage was significantly cheaper than the area that was 2 hours south of us that had all the activity. It was about $4 cheaper, and those $4 made all the difference in the world. And today, that is still one of our best developments. So make sure that you understand your labor force, make sure you get the labor study, but know what to look for in that study. Stay tuned for part four on what makes a great industrial development.